Hi everyone, Annette Kessler here with the 12 Cards of Christmas 2020 series. I know you have been waiting for this and we are starting. Today we are doing card number 1, which is a pop-up panel. Like every time I do a video, you have a printable cutting guide and instructions in the description under the video. You go ahead, you click on that link and you get a printable version that you can download and print with all the measurements and all the instructions that you need to prepare before you do the video. So I'm going to start with my two solid color pieces. One is 4 1/4 by 11 and the other is 2 3/4 by 11. Again, you have all the measurements in that printable cutting guide. I'm going to take the first piece, which is the base, and simply score it in the center and fold it in half. This is going to be the base of our card. Always use a bone folder to burnish all your folds. These interactive cards need very strong folds to work. Next, I'm going to take the inside piece and I'm going to score it at 2 3/4, 5 1/2, and 8 1/4. Again, you have all the instructions, very detailed instructions in the printable guide that you can download for free. So I'm going to score that, and I'm using my trimmer and a bone folder, but you can use a scoreboard if you have one, or just a ruler and something to make your score lines. Now let's fold this piece in accordion shape. That means that you start with a valley fold, then a mountain fold, and then a valley fold again. You're going to have an M or a W shape like this, or an accordion shape. Next, we're going to take our pop-up panel piece. It's 8 1/2 by 10 3/4. And on the long side, we're going to score it at 5 3/8. Make sure everything is very accurate so the card will work properly. Then we're going to turn it 90 degrees and score it at 2 1/4, 4 1/4, and 6 1/4. Again, all the measurements that I'm saying are in that guide. So I always recommend to download the guide, print the guide, and then cut all the pieces in advance, and then just follow along with the video to make the card. It's very easy this way. You don't have to pause, cut the piece, play it again, and then pause the video again. I think this way is much easier to follow along. Now let's fold it in half on the vertical fold line, and then make sure that it's accurate. Always use your bone folder to burnish it. I'm going to bring back my trimmer. And now the folded edge, we're going to align that with the 1 inch mark, and then take a pencil and make a little mark on the top and on the bottom. Okay, next, on the top and on the bottom, just with the pencil. Next, we're going to move that and align the same folded edge with 1 1/4 and make 2 marks vertically. Use your vertical ruler. We're going to make 2 marks here and then all the way down here. Again, all the measurements are in the cutting guide, in the instructions. It's very clear there. Okay, so once we've done these 2 marks, go ahead. It's a little bit difficult to see that on the printed pattern paper, but when you make it on your paper, it will be visible that little pencil mark there. So the next step is to take a ruler and connect the marks that we made with the pencil on both sides like this. They're going to be a little bit of diagonal lines like this, and they're basically going to meet the score lines that we made. So now it's time to fold along the score lines that we previously made on the 2 1/4, 4 1/4, and 6 1/4. This mechanism is kind of complicated. I tried to simplify it as much as I could, but a little bit of measuring and folding is still required, but the result is really worth it. Okay, so now we're going to cut from the bottom edge all the way to that pencil line that we made and along the pencil line on both sides of your folded paper. You can do this with scissors. I like to work with a ruler and a craft knife. Think it's much accurate and the lines are more straight than with scissors, but that's just me. You can go ahead and do that with scissors. So along the score line all the way up to the pencil line, and then along the pencil line on both sides of the paper. And you're going to get sort of a t-shirt shape. I think that describes it. So this is our t-shirt shape that we have, and this is going to be the moving mechanism of the card. So the next step is to fold it and create the moving mechanism. So you have two lines. You have the horizontal fold line, score line, and the vertical score line, which you have to wiggle your cardstock and align one on top of the other like this. Make sure that the top and bottom edges there form a 90 degrees angle like this. So this is a 90 degrees angle. This is what you're supposed to have, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Align the horizontal line with the vertical line, the score lines, while you create a 90 degrees angle. Burnish your folds with the bone folder. Now you're going to insert it like this, the two sleeves together towards the inside like this. Close it, and again burnish it very well with your bone folder to make sure that all the fold lines are really creased. That will make a really big difference when you're supposed to operate. So this is the moving mechanism of the card. So now we're going to bring back our M or W, and we have cover papers. Just going to flip the direction of the piece because you're supposed to put the cover papers on the inside, namely when this shape is in the W shape, and I want the green to show, not the red. So that's why I changed the directions of the fold. So you just put your W shape paper in front of you and cover it with the cover papers. Now if you want to make this card really personal, you can use little photos instead of pattern papers, or you can use 2 photos and 2 pattern paper squares. Just play with it, and this adding photos will make the card very personal. So since it's a double-sided paper, I'm just going to play with the directions of the paper and use both sides just to make it a little bit more interesting. So after you cover the 4 panels, you can go ahead and glue that to our mechanism. So what we're going to do is apply glue to the bottom left corner here under the fold line, and to the top right corner here above the fold line. Close it like this, and then make sure the writing is on the right side, and then turn it so the opening is towards the bottom like this. Align it with the bottom edge of your mechanism and attach the arm, the left arm where we put the glue, and then flip it towards the other side and then attach the other arm while you align it with the other bottom edge. And basically your mechanism is ready. Just burnish everything. And this is how it looks. Oops, it's upside down. Have to wait for the glue to dry. I always like to use liquid glue because then I can wiggle it to position, but you can use double-sided tape if you want. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Now let's bring back the base. Apply glue to the bottom of your mechanism. Again, I like to use liquid glue, but you can use double-sided tape if you want. Then apply the glue and attach it to the bottom part of your base. Align to the center all the way up to the fold line. Make sure it can close, and then apply glue to the top and close the base, close the card, so it will be attached to the top side of the mechanism like this. Now all you need to do is add papers, embellishments to the top of your card. So I use the same papers, just a few pieces that I have left over from cutting all the pieces for the card, and I'm going to add them, and then the card will be ready. So we have completed card number 1, the pop-up panel card, and we have 11 more cards to go. So this card is really cool. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to click on the little bell icon to be notified when I upload a new video. So stay tuned for the other 11 cards. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you next time.